Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I'd like to send you a warm welcome. Here, I talk about issues that happen within the Black community, hopefully for some resolution or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So, without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is what happens to the Black man and his family when he is locked away in prison. So, I want to start off with a piece of history. As some of you well know, when slavery ended, the American society had to incorporate a way to still profit or benefit off of Black labor. And of course, keep the family divided and the Black woman and children without defense. And that defense for many women, and especially in those times, and which still is a man in the home, in the communities, and in society. Now, we already have enough cases throughout history of the Black woman and especially the Black man being falsely accused for minor infractions and being given unjustly lengthy sentences. And that's part of the reason why, they don't want, their men, or they, you know, are very cautious about giving them sentences because they already know what goes on behind the prison walls. But this message goes to my beautiful brothers. And this message also goes to the troubled Black man out there who doesn't know which direction to turn in and he doesn't know which way to go. But one way you shouldn't definitely go for sure, and that's to prison. And my question to you is, what happens to you and your family when you are put away? Number one, it gives the system a chance to decrease your humanity legally. So it's not against the law once you're behind bars. They've got laws that this and this can't happen, but when you're behind bars, you're definitely those correction officers, you're theirs, okay? So it strips away your humanity. It also reduces you to a serial number. So who you are as an individual, your first and your last name, what people call you, what you love to do, is reduced to a serial number. They profit off of you with cheap labor. And I find that an oxymoron because I've said it in one of my other episodes that a lot of our young brothers, especially, they don't want to work for someone. They want to naturally and rightfully so own their own business, be their own boss. Yet they fail to do it in positive ways. They don't want to go to work, a lot of our young brothers. They don't want to go to work and they don't want to make it to the top by working from the bottom to the top. And the oxymoron is you lose everything that you have that you worked for through ill-gotten gain to go answer yes, sir, and no, sir. Can I go to the restroom, sir? To make 10 cents an hour. So you end up doing what you claim you didn't want to do on the outside, and you end up doing it on the inside, behind bars. Being locked up takes away your manhood and your ability to produce your visions, what you could have been, what you should have been, and also to produce beautiful, healthy Black babies. It unnaturally surrounds you in a population saturated with men. It also increases the risk of developing a natural companionship with men. Being locked up around men, especially for our brothers that do long, lengthy sentences. Sometimes they come out and they deny anything happened physically or sexually behind bars, but sometimes you can see it in their eyes that you already know that they're not the same person that they was when they stepped into that prison cell. And that's why I'm encouraging the black brothers to think twice about their actions, about being locked up in that warehouse. It increases the risk of homosexuality. It also increases the risk of contracting STDs, such as HIV. And a lot of times when our brothers are released from prison, it can alter his perception in their relationship with women and the affection and responsibility to his woman. By being locked up for so long, some of our men can forget, especially about being around so many men for so long, they can forget how to handle a woman and their responsibility, and the affection can be lost and sometimes stripped away from them by being locked up. It takes the black man away from reality, the reality of being out in society as a civilian. They call it institutionalized. His responsibility to the family he left behind. So it causes him to lose a sense of the urgency that their family needs, that the black man's family needs when he's off. He's not in the same reality or the same dimension with the same struggles that his family is going through on the outside because he's living a whole different life while he's locked up. It takes away from his drive to provide and protect his family. It also takes away from his manly instincts, his godly manly instincts. It can also cause depression and anxiety, which can lead to mental illness. And a lot of times this comes from knowing that he has left his family behind and let his family down. And not just the woman or the children, but his own mother and father. Prison is not a place of rehabilitation for our men, and many times leads the black man to become a repeat offender due to the societal stain of having a felony in a country who is more than eager to reject his job or housing application, or a sincere willingness to make a fresh start. As we all know, there are quite a bit of number of Caucasian men that have felonies, but because people that own the businesses look more like them, they're more willing to give them a chance when they check yes for having a felony. And for our black men, it becomes three times harder to provide. And also, it leads down a road of not being able to provide for himself or his family, even after the sentence has been served. So it also increases the risk of passing said STDs to future female partners. So a lot of times when our brothers are coming from prison and they've engaged in all sorts of acts and they obtain contract these STDs and they're having unprotected sex with the black woman out here, they're passing on STDs, and that's part of what's, killing our people as well, is the double lifestyle. Because even, once, anyone, but definitely, what we're talking about, engaging in a homosexual lifestyle, and denying it or trying to put it behind you when you get finished doing your time and then engaging with, women, it definitely opens the black woman up for an increased risk of HIV as well. And like I said once, and I'll say it again, it causes great disappointment to your mother and your father, especially if they didn't raise you like that, especially if they gave you the proper upbringing. It could definitely cause, especially your mother, it can cause her health problems and heart problems. It can break your mother's heart. And I wanted to talk about the effects on what it does to the black woman, okay? Especially the black woman who may be carrying your fetus, who may be carrying your offspring, your child, okay? It causes the black woman stress. And like I said, if she is carrying any offspring, can transfer the emotions of unrest and worry to the unborn child. It causes difficulties in labor and delivery when you're locked up. And without a husband present can increase maternal and infantile death. And another thing I want to say about children, you know, children, especially the young black male child, has a very high tendency, as with all male children, to want to be like their father. And what example are you setting if your male child knows that you're in prison? Is this the I want to be like daddy? I want to go to jail like dad? Is this what you want your black sons to look up to? And even if you try to tell them to do differently than you, it's not always that easy. A lot of times when our black brothers go to jail, and if you go to jail, it becomes generational. It becomes like a stain on the gene pool and line. It's a spiritual thing. And that's why we have to be careful what we do as parents. So you want to make sure that you're setting a positive role model and influence for your children to look up to. And don't leave it to the next man. Don't leave it to the next man to raise your child. There's no one who can be a better role model to your child than you, black man. And black man, whether you realize it or not, your purpose is much more greater than that of occupying a jail cell. So this is not about what you should have been or could have been. You can become it. You don't have to keep engaging in acts that's going to cause you to throw away your life. We got too many doctors, too many lawyers, too many carpenters, too many HVAC, too many air pilots. We got too many pharmacists, too many nurses. We got too many scientists with brilliant minds, with no purpose and no driven direction, with no one to steer them in the right way. It's too many of our brothers wasting their lives with such a bright light in their eyes to want to succeed, but they don't know where to wield their energy, which direction. But I'm here to tell you it's definitely not prison. Your drive to live must supersede any illusion of an hustler's ambition. You must be present at all times to protect your offspring, which is your future lineage, and never leave your black woman unattended. The black woman needs you. And that pretty much wraps up my segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I love you all once again. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.